On this episode of The Basement, we shoot out the 4 vintage speakers that I've got to select from to put in this Traynor YT15 cabinet. So the signal chain is as follows. I've got 2 microphones set up. I've got a Shure SM-57 and a Shure Beta 52A, both mics of the same speaker. Now I've got a DI signal coming out of my Gallien Krueger head going into my Behringer Air XR18. That's going to serve as the preamp. Now what I'm doing is I run passive monitor, so I have a power amp powering 2 passive speakers, and that's what I mix and monitor on. So what I've done is I've unplugged one of those speakers and I've run a speaker cable to this 15-inch speaker in its place. So what I've got rigged up here is a Home Depot bucket, an old pool noodle, to try and give it a little bit of resonance to simulate what it would sound like coming out of a cabinet. Now I recognize that this is in fact a huge feedback loop because I'm miking the same signal that I'm playing. So there's going to be a huge delay in the sound by the time I hit the string to it coming out of the speaker, and that's going to throw off playing. So please ignore the playing. It's going to be off tempo. So let's shoot out the first speaker. This is going to be the original CTS unmodified speaker that came out of the Traynor YT15 cabinet. Now I'm going to go ahead and hook up the version of the same speaker that I actually recon. Alright, so I'm actually pleased with how that sounds. It doesn't sound that much different than the original unmodified CTS speaker. So this is a 1969 Eminence square back. I call it a square back because it's got this giant square magnet on the back. Alright, that's the 69 Eminence. So last but not least, we have a 1974 Eminence square back. Yeah, it's just got a higher noise floor than the other three for some reason. But it sounds louder. This one seems to have a little bit of a growl to it. I like this one. Alright, so I'm going to have to review the footage to make my decision. These sound really, really close. Again, these are all made in the same era. So 3 of these speakers were manufactured in 1974. The first Eminence square back that I tested was made in 1969. So all of these would have been period correct to go in this cabinet. The Eminence would have been an upgrade to the original CTS/Marshall speakers. So it really just depends on what I want to hear out of this cabinet. I don't think I'm going to notice that much of a difference. But then again, we'll have to see. It's going to react different with a tube head versus a solid state, so this may not be a fair comparison. Then obviously this signal chain is kind of jacked up. I mean, it's I wanted to try and do this video kind of Mythbuster style and shoot out these individual speakers just because I have that passive monitoring system, and I figured that would be a good way to test this. But other than the feedback loop caused by the microphones miking the speaker that they're recording, hopefully we got something good out of this. But anyway, in the next video, we're actually going to pick a pair of speakers. We're going to install them in the Traynor YT15. We're going to plug up the YBA1 head, and we're going to play. So I can't wait to show you not only what this thing looks like in its finished state, but also what it sounds like in its finished state. And at this point, I haven't even heard it yet. So I got work to do. I'll see you next time on The Basement. Alright, well, it's time to put these speakers in. I decided to go just traditional. I'm going to put the original speakers back in. The Recone, as well as the original factory speaker here. So I'm going to put the Recone on the bottom, and I guess the original on the top. But I got to remember how to wire these things in series. I didn't take a picture when I unplugged any of these. So I got to figure this piece out. Okay, so we've got the positive from one go into one speaker, the negative go into the other, and then this loose guy bridges the gap between the two. Alright, so series is weird. These are two 8-ohm speakers. So what this is going to do by wiring this in series is it's actually going to make it 16 ohm? Something like that. If I wired them in parallel, they would stay at 8 ohm. They did this because they wanted to be able to run the head. They wanted the head to be able to feed 2 cabinets if you wanted to. So I don't know. That's just the way it is. I gotta say, I'm really, really happy. This is been a long time coming. This project has taken me about 2 months. Now granted, I'm filming and editing and doing everything by myself and trying to research and figure out how to do all this along the way. But I gotta say, to see everything actually put back together, seeing how good it looks compared to how it looked when I first brought it in the house, gotta say I'm excited. I can't wait to play this thing. So that's gonna have to wait for another episode before I show you the final reveal with the grill cover on. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try and get back to you next week with our actual proper demo showcasing this head with this cabinet finally reunited with all functional and working components for the first time in easily 15-20 years. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited to watch the next episode of The Basement.